The night was too quiet for Seoul. That kind of quiet that made even neon lights seem nervous. Barbie's red heels clicked against the marble floor of a luxury nightclub as if she owned it. Her long wig shone under the chandeliers, perfectly styled, and her lips glittered in glossy pink. She wasn't just a woman, she was a walking painting. Every step screamed, soft life only. She lived for shopping bags, late-night selfies, and crying over men who never loved her enough. She had no business being in a place like this. Everyone in Seoul whispered that the nightclub, Viper's Den, was run by men no one dared to look at twice. But Barbie wasn't everyone. She was soft, spoiled, and fearless in her own dramatic way. Tonight, her only worry was whether her eyeliner was sharp enough to cut hearts. But the air shifted. From the VIP corner, a man leaned forward, tattoos peeking from his half-open silk shirt. His dark eyes burned like fire against ice. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't even blinking. He was studying her the way predators study prey. The Mafia boss. Barbie's glossy lips curled in a soft smirk. She had heard of him, the savage, the man whose enemies disappeared, the one whose name made businessmen sweat. But here he was, staring at her, while his glass of whiskey sat untouched. Her heart skipped, but she lifted her chin. She was Barbie. A doll never broke her posture. Still, something about his gaze unsettled her. It wasn't lust, it was hunger, a dangerous curiosity. The silence snapped when one of his men leaned toward him. "Boss, she doesn't belong here. Should I?" "No." The Mafia boss cut in, voice deep, calm, but sharp as a knife. His eyes never left Barbie. "Let her walk." Barbie didn't hear his words, but she felt the weight of his attention. She sashayed past the tables, pretending she hadn't noticed, though her heart was thumping hard under her silk dress. She didn't belong here. She knew it. But for the first time in a long time, she felt something she wasn't used to. Her soft life wasn't enough. The shopping bags, the diamonds, the fake love from men who wanted only her body. All of it felt too empty. And now, under the stare of a savage man with tattoos and scars, Barbie felt something dangerous. Later that night, she stood at the mirror in the women's lounge, reapplying lipstick. The club noise was muffled, only her reflection staring back. She touched the lace front of her wig, adjusted it, then sighed softly. "Why is it," she whispered to herself, "that I have everything and still cry for love?" Her own voice startled her. She rarely admitted that truth. To the world, she was a baddie. Untouchable, heartless, living on champagne and shopping. But deep inside, she was soft, fragile, always craving the gentle love no man had given her. The door opened. She froze. It wasn't another woman. It was him, the Mafia boss. Up close, he was worse. Too handsome in a dangerous way, dark hair falling messily across his forehead, tattoos snaking down his collarbone. His presence sucked the air out of the room. Barbie straightened, clutching her lip gloss like a weapon. "This is the ladies' room," she said softly, trying to keep her voice steady. "I know." His voice was low, almost amused. "But I wanted to see if you're real." Her heart skipped. "And what if I'm not?" she teased, trying to hide her nerves. "Then I'll keep looking until I find you again." The words hit her chest like a bullet, sweet and heavy. She should have walked away. She should have told him she wasn't part of his world. But instead, she stayed frozen, staring into those dark eyes that looked like they'd seen 1,000 deaths. And yet, for some reason, softened when they looked at her. Barbie's lips parted, but no words came. Her whole life had been shopping bags and staged tears. This man's world was blood and steel. They should never have crossed. And yet, the room buzzed with forbidden electricity. Finally, he smirked faintly, tilting his head. "You're too soft for this place, Barbie." Her breath caught. He already knew her name. She tried to smile, but it trembled. "And you're too dangerous for mine." Their worlds had clashed. Glitter had met gunpowder. And in that moment, neither knew they were already standing on the edge of a fire that would burn them both alive. Barbie always woke up beautiful. That was her rule. Even if her heart was broken, even if she had cried herself to sleep, she made sure the morning found her with silk pillows, satin robes, and lip gloss already on her nightstand. Soft life wasn't just a lifestyle, it was her shield. If the world saw her shine, no one would know the cracks in her heart. That morning, she sat before her mirror, brushing her wig slowly. Long black waves cascaded down her shoulders, blending with the pink robe tied loosely at her waist. Her dressing table was a battlefield of perfumes, lipsticks, lashes, and glittering jewelry. Yet her eyes, those soft, dark eyes, looked tired. She remembered last night, the man, the mafia boss who had entered the ladies' room as if the rules of the world didn't apply to him. The way he had stared at her like he could see through the layers of wigs, lashes, and gloss straight into her soul. Barbie closed her eyes and sighed. Why am I thinking about him? He's danger. He's not love. He's not softness. But her heart betrayed her. It beat faster every time she replayed his words in her mind. You're too soft for this place, Barbie. That afternoon, she went shopping in Gangnam, determined to bury the memory under bags of luxury. Her nails were freshly painted. Her heels clicked like music, and her lips glistened with new gloss. She laughed too loudly at the sales attendant's compliments, posed for selfies under golden lights, and sipped expensive lattes as if nothing in the world could touch her. But even as she twirled in front of boutique mirrors, testing new dresses, she felt it. Those eyes, watching. At first, she thought it was her imagination. Then, stepping out of a jewelry store, she saw him. Across the street, the same man from the nightclub, standing near a black car, sleeves rolled up, tattoos on display. His dark eyes locked on her like he had been waiting. Barbie froze, clutching her purse. The street noise faded. Only her heartbeat remained. He didn't move, didn't speak. He just watched her, calm but intense, like she was the only thing that existed in the chaos of soul. Miss, would you like this bag wrapped? The store clerk asked behind her. Barbie snapped back to reality. She forced a smile, nodded, and when she turned again, he was gone. Her chest tightened. Why did his absence feel heavier than his presence? That night, Barbie sat in her penthouse, surrounded by shopping bags. Designer shoes spilled across the carpet. Boxes of wigs and perfumes covered the couch. Yet she felt empty. She curled up with a glass of champagne, scrolling through her phone. Pictures of smiling couples filled her feed. Hands held tightly, soft kisses shared in quiet corners, love glowing on their faces. Her eyes stung. Barbie had men, yes, rich ones, handsome ones, sweet talkers who bought her diamonds. But none stayed. None wanted her. They wanted the doll, the glitter, the baddie life. No one wanted the soft, lonely girl beneath. She set her phone down and whispered into the silence. Why can't someone just love me softly? The words lingered, fragile, before tears slipped down her cheek, tracing the perfect line of her makeup. A knock startled her. Barbie's head shot up. No one visited her unannounced. She tiptoed to the door, peeking through the glass. Her heart stopped. It was him, the mafia boss. He leaned casually against the hallway wall, dressed in black, his tattoos peeking as always. In his hand, he held a single white rose. Barbie's breath caught. Every instinct screamed, don't open the door. He was danger, fire. Everything soft should run from steel like his. But her hand moved on its own. She unlocked the door. He looked up and their eyes met. For the second time in 2 days, Barbie felt like the world around her vanished. You shouldn't be here, she whispered, her voice trembling. And yet, he said calmly, stepping closer. Here I am. Her throat tightened. What do you want from me? He lifted the rose, his eyes softer than she expected. To see if you're real, or just another doll. Barbie's chest ached. No man had ever spoken to her like that. Like he wanted to peel away the gloss and lashes to see the heart underneath. I'm not a doll, she whispered, voice cracking despite her pride. I'm Barbie. I'm soft. I want love. I'm not built for guns and blood. For a moment, the savage mask slipped from his face. He looked at her not as a mafia boss, but as a man who had lived in darkness so long, light almost hurt his eyes. Maybe, he murmured, soft is what I need. Barbie's heart pounded. No man had ever looked at her like that, hungry, yet gentle, savage, yet vulnerable. She should have closed the door. She should have pushed him away. But instead, she reached out, taking the rose from his hand. Her fingers brushed his, and the world tilted. That night, Barbie lay awake, the white rose resting on her pillow. She stared at it for hours, fighting the storm inside her. She wanted softness, safety, love. He was danger, chaos, blood. And yet, she had never felt so alive. She touched the petals, whispering to herself, I can't fall for him. I can't. But her heart already knew. She was already falling. The city was alive that Friday night. Neon lights buzzed, cars honked, and laughter spilled out of bars as Seoul streets throbbed with energy. Barbie was right where she loved to be, dressed like a goddess in a sparkling silver mini dress. Her long wig styled in curls that bounced with every step. Her nails shimmered. Her perfume left trails of sweetness behind her, and her lip gloss glistened like honey. She was the center of her world. The doll, the soft queen. But deep inside, a restlessness pulled at her chest. No matter how many clubs she entered, no matter how many champagne glasses she raised, nothing filled the quiet ache inside her heart. She wanted something more than selfies, more than designer heels. She wanted someone who saw her. At 1 a.m., Barbie left the club with her friends, laughing too loudly, her heels clicking against the wet pavement. A black car slowed beside her. She thought it was just another admirer, but then the door opened and 3 men stepped out. Their eyes were sharp, their smiles cruel. Pretty doll, one of them said in accented Korean, blocking her path. Where's your boyfriend now? Barbie froze. She didn't know these men. She tried to brush past them, but one grabbed her wrist roughly. Let me go, she snapped, her voice trembling though she tried to stay bold. The man leaned close, sneering. You've been walking around places you don't belong. You think we don't notice the way he looks at you? The boss of Black Serpents doesn't share. But maybe we can play with you first. Her heart dropped. Black Serpents, rival Mafia. Barbie's soft life had never prepared her for this. Tears stung her eyes, mascara threatening to run. She pulled, kicked, struggled, but their grip was too strong. Please, she whispered, her voice breaking. I'm not part of this. But they only laughed. Her wig shifted. Her heels scraped against the ground. Her makeup streaked as fear swallowed her. For the first time, Barbie felt like a doll about to be broken. Then the street went silent. A black shadow appeared at the end of the alley. The Mafia boss. He walked slowly, hands in his pockets, eyes colder than death. Behind him, 2 of his men trailed, but it was his presence that froze the serpents. The man holding Barbie stiffened. Boss, let her go. His voice was calm, deadly calm. Barbie's breath caught. His tattoos gleamed under the streetlight, his jaw sharp, his eyes burning with a fury she had never seen before. The serpents hesitated. She's just a doll. Why do you care? In 1 second, the Mafia boss moved. A punch cracked the air, and the man holding Barbie fell to the ground, groaning. The others tried to fight, but he was merciless, each strike precise, brutal, savage. Blood splattered against the pavement. Barbie stumbled back, mascara running, her heart racing as she watched him fight for her like a man possessed. When the last serpent lay groaning on the ground, he turned to her. His knuckles were bruised, his shirt torn, but his eyes softened the moment they landed on her. Barbie, he said, his voice low. Are you hurt? Her lips trembled. I don't. She couldn't form words. Tears slipped down her cheeks, leaving black trails of mascara. He stepped closer, cupping her face gently despite his bloodied hands. His thumb brushed away her tears, careful not to smudge her more. No one will ever touch you again, he whispered, his voice a promise and a threat all at once. Barbie's heart cracked wide open. He guided her into his car, draping his jacket over her shoulders. She sat in silence, clutching the fabric, inhaling the scent of leather and smoke that clung to it. Her body trembled, not from the cold, but from everything she had just witnessed. When the car pulled into his mansion, Barbie barely realized where they were. She was too busy staring at him. The savage who had killed for her, the man who had wiped her tears as if she were fragile glass. Inside, the mansion was vast, golden lights spilling across marble floors. But she barely noticed. He turned to her, his expression unreadable. You're safe now. Barbie laughed softly, a broken sound. Safe? Around you? His jaw tightened. For once, he didn't argue. He simply looked at her like she was something he had no right to touch but couldn't stay away from. Barbie wiped her eyes, smearing mascara further, and muttered, I look a mess. To her shock, he smiled faintly, almost sadly. You look real. Her chest tightened. No man had ever cared about the real her. Not the wigs, not the gloss, not the glitter. Just her. Something inside Barbie shifted. You didn't have to save me, she whispered, voice fragile. Yes, I did, he said firmly. Because I couldn't stand the thought of them touching you. Barbie's lips parted, but no words came. All her life she had been chasing love in the wrong places. Tonight, bleeding and savage, this man had given her more protection, more devotion, than anyone ever had. For the first time, her heart whispered what her mind refused to admit. Maybe danger feels a lot like love. That night, as she lay in one of his guest rooms, wrapped in silk sheets that smelled faintly of his cologne, Barbie stared at the ceiling, tears drying on her cheeks. Her world had cracked open. She wasn't just a doll anymore. She was a woman standing at the edge of fire. And even though she knew she shouldn't, she was already stepping closer. The mansion was too quiet. Barbie sat on the edge of a velvet couch in the grand living room, her hands still trembling as she traced the rim of a crystal glass. Gold chandeliers glittered above her. Polished marble reflected her image beneath. And yet, despite all the luxury, the air felt heavy. She was used to mansions. She was used to diamonds and golden staircases. But this place was different. It wasn't soft. It wasn't gentle. It carried the scent of smoke, blood, and danger. And him, the Mafia boss, stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, his broad shoulders outlined against the night. He hadn't said much since they arrived. He just stared out into the darkness as if waiting for more enemies to crawl out of the shadows. Barbie's soft heart twisted. He had saved her life. He had held her face and wiped away her tears with hands that had spilled blood moments before. And now here he was, silent, scarred, savage. She broke the silence first. You don't scare easily, do you? He turned slowly, eyes sharp but softened when they landed on her. Fear doesn't keep me alive. Caution does. Barbie tilted her head, her wig shining under the lights, her lashes fluttering as if to challenge him. And what about love? Does that keep you alive? His jaw clenched and he looked away. Barbie let out a soft, sad laugh. That's what I thought. She sipped from her glass, though her hands shook. I've been crying for love my whole life. Shopping, wigs, lip gloss, champagne. All of it was just to cover the emptiness. But you don't even try to hide it, do you? The fact that love doesn't exist in your world. For the first time, she saw something flicker in his eyes. Pain. He walked closer, his steps slow, deliberate. He stopped just a few feet away from her. His voice was low when he spoke. I don't hide it because it was taken from me a long time ago. Barbie blinked. She hadn't expected that. What happened? She whispered. His eyes darkened. When I was young, before the tattoos, before the power, I had someone. She was soft like you. She smiled at me like I wasn't a monster. And I thought maybe I wasn't. But in this life, softness gets destroyed. Barbie's heart ached. She didn't know why she wanted to cry. For herself or for him. And now? She asked softly. He studied her. His gaze roaming her flawless makeup, her trembling lips, her eyes that looked too innocent for his world. Now I don't let anyone close. Barbie forced a smirk, though her throat was tight. Then why am I here? He didn't answer right away. He just stepped closer until she could feel the heat of him, until her breath hitched. Because, he said finally, his voice rough, you walked into my darkness with glitter and perfume. And for the first time, I wanted to protect something instead of destroy it. Her chest tightened so hard she couldn't breathe. No man had ever said something so raw to her. No man had ever seen past the wigs, the gloss, the soft batty mask she wore every day. Her hands trembled as she set the glass down. You shouldn't say things like that, she whispered. You'll make me believe them. Believe them, he murmured. Barbie's lashes fluttered. She wanted to laugh, to deflect, to act like the untouchable doll she always pretended to be. But her heart was beating too loudly, drowning out her defenses. When his hand reached out, brushing a stray curl from her wig behind her ear, she froze. His touch was gentle, too gentle for a man whose fists had been covered in blood hours ago. "Barbie," he said softly, his eyes searching hers. "You don't belong in my world. Your softness, I'm steel. But if you stay close to me, I'll ruin you." Her lips parted. She could smell his cologne, dark and smoky, mixing with her sweet perfume. "Maybe," she whispered, "I want to be ruined." For a long moment, neither of them moved. The mansion seemed to hold its breath. Then slowly his hand cupped her cheek, his thumb brushing her flawless skin as if afraid she would shatter. Barbie's eyes fluttered shut, and when his lips finally touched hers, it wasn't savage. It wasn't violent. It was soft. The kiss was hesitant at first, as if he had forgotten how to be gentle. Barbie leaned into it, her hands clutching his shirt, her heart pounding so hard she thought it would burst. The world outside didn't exist. The rival gangs, the blood, the fear. None of it mattered. In that moment, it was just a savage man and a soft woman, breaking all the rules. When they finally pulled apart, Barbie's lip gloss glistened on his lips, and her mascara had smudged faintly from the tears she hadn't realized she was shedding. He rested his forehead against hers, his breathing uneven. "This is dangerous," he whispered. Barbie's voice trembled, but her eyes were steady as she looked at him. "So is living without love." He closed his eyes, as if her words were knives and comfort all at once. And for the first time in his savage life, he allowed himself to believe in something sweet. Barbie woke up the next morning wrapped in silk sheets softer than clouds. For a moment, she thought it was all a dream. The rescue, the mansion, the kiss. But when she turned, her eyes landed on him. The Mafia boss sat shirtless by the window, tattoos stretched across his muscular back, his cigarette glowing faintly in the early morning light. He hadn't slept. She could tell. Her heart fluttered painfully. He looked like sin and sorrow carved into flesh. Yet, in his stillness, she felt safe. "Do you always watch the night fade?" she asked softly, her voice hoarse from sleep. He turned, and his gaze softened when it landed on her. "I don't trust mornings. That's when enemies strike." Barbie pulled the sheets tighter around her, her lashes heavy as she studied him. "You live like every second is a battlefield." He smirked faintly. "It is." She wanted to argue, but instead, she stood. Her satin nightdress brushed her thighs as she walked to the golden vanity at the corner of the room. The mirror was wide, framed in diamonds. She sat before it and opened her pink makeup bag. His eyes followed her every move. She brushed powder over her face, curled her lashes, and painted her lips with a soft nude gloss. Every motion was delicate, practiced, as if she were performing a sacred ritual. "You do this every morning?" he asked, his voice low, curious. Barbie smiled faintly at her reflection. "It's my armor. You have tattoos and guns. I have lipstick and lashes." Something heavy shifted in his chest. He wasn't supposed to care. She was supposed to be another fragile doll, another soft distraction in a cruel world. But there was something in the way she coated her lips, something in how her tears from last night hadn't dimmed her glow. He was addicted. "You shouldn't stay here," he said finally, almost to himself. "The longer you're in my world, the more dangerous it gets." Barbie turned in her chair, her gloss catching the sunlight. "And if I've already chosen danger?" Their eyes locked. The air between them thickened, but before he could answer, a sharp knock echoed through the mansion. His face hardened instantly. "Stay here." Barbie's heart thudded as he slipped on his half-open black shirt, the tattoos peeking through as he moved toward the door. She tiptoed closer, listening. Outside the room, voices rose. "Boss, we saw her at the party. People are talking. They're saying you've gone soft over some doll-faced girl. She's nothing, just a spoiled Barbie playing dress-up. She'll get you killed." Barbie's blood ran cold. They were talking about her. The Mafia boss's voice cut through the whispers, sharp and commanding. "Watch your mouth. She's under my protection. Anyone touches her, they answer to me." There was silence, then muttering footsteps fading down the hall. Barbie pressed her hand to her chest, her heart racing. He had defended her, publicly, fiercely. When he returned, his face was unreadable. But Barbie could see it, the war behind his eyes. "You heard," he said flatly. Barbie nodded slowly. "They hate me already. They fear what you mean to me," he corrected, his jaw tight. Her lips parted, stunned. He wasn't supposed to admit that. "You're a savage mafia boss," she whispered. "You don't fall in love with girls like me. I'm soft. I cry when my nail breaks. I pout when my shopping bags are too heavy. I'm not built for bullets and blood." He stepped closer, his eyes burning into hers. "That's exactly why I can't stay away. You remind me of everything I lost. Everything I thought was gone." Barbie's throat tightened. "And if they come for me?" His hand cupped her jaw, his thumb brushing her glossed lips. "Then I'll burn this city to the ground before I let them touch you." Tears welled in Barbie's eyes. She hated that she believed him. She hated that this savage, tattooed man who had known nothing but war was becoming her soft place. But more than anything, she hated how much. She wanted to kiss him again. She did. Their lips met, fiercer than last night. This time there was no hesitation. His hands pulled her closer, her arms wrapping around his neck as if she could anchor him to her soft world. When they finally broke apart, breathless, Barbie's forehead rested against his. "This is crazy," she whispered. He smirked faintly, his eyes soft in a way she knew no one else had ever seen. "Then let's be crazy together." For the first time, Barbie didn't feel like a spoiled doll crying for love. She felt seen. She felt wanted. And even though the whispers in the mansion grew louder, even though the danger pressed closer, she knew one thing with certainty. She was already his. And he, the savage mafia boss, was already hers. The city had a strange pulse that week. It beat faster, heavier, like a heart rushing toward disaster. Barbie felt it every time she stepped outside the mansion. The stares, the whispers, the way people's eyes lingered too long when she walked past in her luxury wigs, diamond heels clicking against the pavement. She used to love the attention, but now it felt sharp, threatening. Inside the mansion, she was safe. Outside, she was prey. And all because of him, the mafia boss. He was colder these days. Sharp in meetings, merciless with enemies. But with her, he was different. He studied her as though she was the only real thing in his bloody world. He trailed her with his eyes when she applied lip gloss, when she adjusted her wig, when she pouted because her favorite designer bag hadn't arrived on time. He watched her soft routines like they were the most fragile rituals on earth. But his obsession was showing. "Boss, the rivals know," one of his men said one evening, his voice tense during a meeting. "They know about the girl. They've seen you guard her like treasure. They're plotting to use her." Barbie overheard it. She froze in the hallway, clutching the silk robe tighter around her body. Her heart thudded so loudly she was sure they could all hear. The mafia boss's voice sliced through the air. "If they even breathe her name, they die." His men exchanged uneasy glances. They had seen him ruthless before, but this was something else. He wasn't just defending territory or money. He was defending her. That night, Barbie sat at her vanity brushing her wig, her reflection glowing under the golden lights. But her hands trembled. When he entered the room, she didn't turn. "They're right, you know?" He stopped. "About what?" "That I'm your weakness." Her voice cracked. "I shouldn't be here. My life used to be shopping and crying over boys who didn't text back. I never thought I'd fall into this. Into you." He crossed the room in 2 strides, gripping the back of her chair so hard the diamonds rattled. His reflection loomed behind her in the mirror, tattoos curling across his chest, eyes burning. "You're not my weakness, Barbie," he said, voice rough. "You're the only thing that keeps me from drowning in blood. You're the reason I haven't killed half the city already." Her breath hitched. Tears slipped down her cheeks, smudging her mascara. "I don't want to cost you your empire," she whispered. "I'm not strong like you. I'm soft. I cry when my lashes fall off. I panic when I break a nail. He spun her chair to face him, his large hands cradling her face. "That's exactly why I need you, because you remind me there's softness left in the world. You cry for love. I kill for survival. Together, maybe we can be something more." Her chest tightened painfully. He wasn't supposed to say things like this. He wasn't supposed to be this vulnerable. And yet, She leaned forward, pressing her forehead against his. If they come for me? His jaw flexed. His voice dropped to a growl. Then I'll burn their bloodlines to ashes. Barbie closed her eyes, her tears slipping onto his thumb as he wiped her cheek. She wanted to believe him. She did believe him, but the fear was real now. 2 days later, the threat arrived. Barbie had convinced him to let her go shopping. I need my life back, she argued, pouting as she adjusted her wig. I can't stay locked up like a doll in a box. What's the point of all this luxury if I can't even wear it outside? Reluctantly, he agreed, but not without posting 2 cars of guards behind her. Barbie strutted into the luxury mall, heels sharp against marble, bags of Chanel and Prada piling up in her arms. For a moment, she almost felt normal again, until she noticed them. 2 men in dark coats. Not his men. Their eyes were locked on her like wolves. Her chest tightened. She adjusted her wig, pretended to browse, but her hands shook so badly the perfume bottle nearly slipped. The guards noticed. They formed a wall around her instantly, speaking into earpieces. Boss, we've got company. The men didn't strike. They just smirked, lifted their phones, and snapped a picture of Barbie clutching her shopping bags. The message was clear. They knew who she was. They knew she mattered. When she returned to the mansion, the Mafia boss was waiting, his face carved from stone. He grabbed the phone one of his guards handed him, the photo already circulating in underground channels. Barbie, his Barbie, marked as his weakness. His fists slammed against the glass table, shattering it. They won't live to see sunrise. Barbie flinched, clutching her chest. He turned to her, his rage softening the moment his eyes landed on her trembling figure. He stepped closer, cupping her face gently, his voice breaking. Barbie, they won't touch you. I swear it on my blood. You're mine. Mine to protect. Mine to love. Mine to keep breathing. Her tears spilled over. She hated that her heart melted even as fear consumed her. She hated that she was so soft in a world this savage. But when his lips brushed her forehead, lingering there as though she was sacred, she realized something deeper. She wasn't just his weakness. She was his reason. And for that reason, the whole city was about to bleed. The night smelled of gasoline and gunpowder. Barbie's tears smeared her mascara as a rough hand shoved her into the back of a black van. Her shopping bags spilled onto the street, luxury perfumes and silk dresses scattering like broken pieces of her soft life. She screamed, her voice cracking. Let me go. One of the men sneered. Your boyfriend can't save you now, doll. Her heart twisted. She wasn't supposed to be here. She wasn't supposed to be part of this world. She was a Barbie made for mirrors, gloss, and diamonds. Not for blood. Not for chains. But her mistake was falling for him. At the mansion, the Mafia boss received the call. Boss, his man said, voice trembling. They have her. For the first time in years, the savage Mafia boss lost control. His whiskey glass shattered in his fist, blood dripping down his tattoos, but he didn't flinch. His dark eyes burned like a man possessed. Where? He demanded. They sent a message. Abandoned warehouse. Dockside. He grabbed his gun, slid it into his waistband, and stormed out. His men scrambled after him, but he didn't wait. He wasn't a boss anymore. He wasn't thinking about territory, money, or power. He was just a man fighting for his woman, his Barbie. The warehouse reeked of oil and damp concrete. Barbie sat tied to a chair, mascara streaks painting her cheeks, wig slightly crooked from the struggle. Her soft life had never looked so broken. Yet even now, she tried to sit tall, tried to pout through her tears, as if makeup could shield her from terror. The rival gang leader circled her like a predator. So this is the weakness of the savage king. A doll. Fragile. Spoiled. Crying for love. He grabbed her chin roughly. I wonder what he'll give to get you back. His city? His life. Before Barbie could speak, the steel door slammed open. The Mafia boss stood there, shirt half open, tattoos gleaming under the dim light, gun in hand. His men fanned out behind him, but his eyes saw only one thing, her. Touch her again, he growled, voice vibrating with lethal promise. And I'll decorate these walls with your blood. Barbie's heart nearly burst. He looked like death, but his eyes softened when they landed on her. The rival leader smirked. You came. Good. Now kneel. The Mafia boss didn't hesitate. He dropped to his knees on the dirty floor, gun still in his hand but lowered, his dark eyes never leaving Barbie's. The savage boss, the man feared across the city, knelt for love. Barbie gasped, fresh tears spilling. Her savage had just become soft for her. Let her go, he said, voice breaking like glass. Take me instead. The rival laughed. You'd give up your empire for a doll? He smirked faintly. For my doll? I'd give up the world. The room fell silent. Even the enemies blinked in disbelief. And in that heartbeat of shock, the Mafia boss moved. Gunfire erupted, deafening. His men stormed in, bullets flashing like lightning. Barbie screamed, squeezing her eyes shut as chaos exploded around her. When the smoke cleared, the rival gang was on the ground. Silence returned, heavy and final. Then, footsteps. He came to her, hands trembling as he cut her ropes, pulling her into his arms. Barbie buried her face in his chest, sobbing against his tattoos. You knelt for me. He kissed her hair, his own voice shaking. I'd kneel 1,000 times if it meant you breathe one more second. She pulled back, her mascara-streaked face tilted up to his. You're supposed to be savage. You're not supposed to love like this. His lips curved into a broken smile. I was savage until I met you. You made me human again. Barbie's heart shattered and healed all at once. She pressed her glossy lips to his, kissing him through tears, through blood, through fear. The kiss was desperate, soft meeting savage, Barbie meeting beast. When they finally broke apart, breathless, he cradled her face. From today, he whispered fiercely, no one touches you. No one even looks at you without my permission. You're mine, Barbie, my soft queen in a savage world. Barbie smiled through her tears, the faintest pout on her lips. Then you'd better buy me more wigs. This one almost didn't survive. He laughed, really laughed, for the first time in years. And in that broken warehouse, surrounded by blood and ashes, their forbidden love became something unshakable, because glitter had touched gunpowder, and instead of burning apart, they burned together.
Hello besties, in this story of Barbie and the Mafia boss, we learned that love can be found in the most unexpected places, even between two people from completely opposite worlds. Barbie, soft and spoiled, was never meant for bullets and blood, while he, savage and feared, was never meant to feel tenderness again. Yet when they collided, they learned that true love is about balance, softness, healing hardness, and strength protecting fragility. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly like, subscribe, and share.